today for the 2024 Stumberg Venture Competition Seed Round. We have 8 amazing teams to delight you and fill your afternoon. Since this is a student competition, I've asked a student to MC the event. So I am Carmen Aramanda, and I'm the director for the Center for Innovation Entrepreneurship. You'll see me come bother the judges periodically. But outside of that, Sophia is going to lead our evening.
Hello, everyone. So we'd like to begin with thanks for our donors, and support from them is what keeps this competition and our program going. The Stumberg Venture Competition honors the legacy of the late San Antonio businessman and civic leader, Louis H. Stumberg. He was a food industry pioneer. In 1946, he co-founded Patio Mexican Foods, a company that took frozen Tex-Mex foods nationwide. Mr. Stumberg was a dedicated member of Trinity's Board of Trustees and held leadership positions with numerous organizations such as the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce, United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County, Alamo Area Council of Boy Scouts, and as mayor of Terrell Hills and a civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army. He gave generously of his time and treasure and was instrumental in helping build San Antonio's business and civic life. On behalf of the Trinity student body, on behalf of myself, all of Trinity Entrepreneurship, please join me in a round of applause for thanking Herb Stumberg, who's here with us today, and the entire Stumberg family for their steadfast support of Trinity and of this competition. Next, we'd like to extend our gratitude to a very special teacher and mentor, our entrepreneur in residence, Mr. Matt Glazer. He is Trinity class of 2004. He is a native Texan with nearly 2 decades of experience in the nonprofit community and startups. Matt started his career in politics, working on campaigns across the country and at every level of government. After half of a decade on the road, he moved back to his native state and to San Antonio. In 2009, Matt was recruited and hired by Representative Pete Gallego to lead his natural resources legislation and run his communication. After successfully working in research, communication, policy, and campaign management, Matt, with 2 others, opened his first consulting agency in 2010 and officially launched G&I Consulting. Matt spent 7 years as a nonprofit executive director. He was the inaugural executive director for Progress Texas at the Texas affiliate of Progress Now, and served as the turnaround CEO of the Austin Young Chamber of Commerce. Most recently, he was the regional general manager for WeWork in Central Texas, and he launched his company, Blue Sky Partners, with partners Nathan, Ryan, and Tim Seaton. Matt brings a rich and diverse background of working closely with boards of directors and nonprofit staff to meet community needs with mission alignment, and approaches organizational growth and an entrepreneurial mindset in everything he does. Matt currently serves on the board for the Other Ones Foundation and E4 Youth, and he's served as the vice chair on the Skill Point Alliance board and has been a 10-year volunteer and program designer at the Annette Strauss Institute. We are really grateful for everything Matt does. Where is he? I'm looking for him so I can wave at him. There he is. We're so grateful for you. He is a mentor to all of the students here at Trinity. He's helped us as people, as students, with our ventures in everything he does. And we want to give you a little token of our gratitude if you would mind coming down here. We've signed a baseball for you to say thanks because we know how much you love baseball. So if everyone could join me in a round of applause. Oh, yes. This is all them. I added some of my own touches. Oh.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, can you flip the...
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Perfect. 1, 2, 3.
So tonight, multiple teams will be competing for $5,000 in seed funding as well as a place in the Trinity Accelerator. It is a phenomenal program. It is something that introduces us to networks of mentors that help us move our businesses up in the San Antonio, atmosphere with all of the different entrepreneurial resources Trinity has to offer. The teams competing today represent accounting, they represent business analytics, business analytics technology, business management, marketing, communications, computer science, economics, engineering science, English, finance, mathematical finance, pre-med, psychology, and of course, a minor in entrepreneurship. These are just to name a few. Trinity's entrepreneurs are well-rounded and deeply engaged in the Trinity community. They're also representing football team, men and women's soccer teams, student athlete advisory committee, Iota Chi Rho, ASME, Triniteers, SWE, powerlifting, Delta Sigma Pi Business Fraternity, Student Programming Board, Tula, Gamma Chi Delta, Alpha Kappa Psi, and Sigma Theta Tau, just to name a few. Tonight, we are very grateful for all of you being here today. You'll find the agenda for tonight in your program, QR or printed, and we'll end the night with a reception where you'll have the opportunity to speak with the teams and share your ideas and feedback. I'd love to introduce our judges who are here with us tonight. They will be deciding which of the 5 teams will be awarded the $5,000 seed prize, beginning with Dan Geddes, Trinity Class of 96, the San Antonio Region President at Frost Bank, here with us tonight, followed by Surit Kapoor, the founder, board member, and CEO of Excel Ed Montessori Plus, followed by Amanda Lee Keemer, the founder and CEO of Habilu, and Jennifer Newell, the founder and CEO of Betty's Co., followed by Diego Perino, Trinity Class of 17, the founder and CEO of Creative Disruption. Thank you all very much. We'd like to acknowledge the team of entrepreneurship, including Liz, Brianna, Sherry, and the student workers who made this all possible.
Hi everyone, my name is Nathan. I'm a BAT student here at Trinity University, and I have a food allergy. I'm allergic to both peanuts and tree nuts, and I've had a reaction 4 times in my life. Each time I was administered epinephrine, which is the only drug that cures a food allergy. And its most severe form of food allergy includes anaphylaxis, which is 1 stage away from death. This is shallow breathing, hives, breakouts, and pretty soon your vocal cords close and you die. That's because every year in the United States, there's 50,000 hospital visits, 200,000 anaphylactic reactions, and unfortunately anywhere from 150 to 200 deaths. And that's because it's difficult. It's difficult to live with a food allergy. These are just some of the many problems that face it, with the most important being remembering to take your EpiPen whenever you go out. See, it's hard. It's not like a phone, a wallet, or keys, in which if you forget it, you might say, check the time, or unlock your car. It's different. If you're lucky, you might go in your entire life without ever actually having to use your EpiPen. And yet, it is essential that you remember to bring it with you every single day, every single time that you go out. Eating out at restaurants is also pretty difficult. Especially for mom and pop restaurants, these are one-chain stands. They don't have the resources to create what's called an allergy menu. And they don't have the necessary precautions to eliminate what's called cross-contamination. And because of this, it's difficult for me to eat at places like this. That doesn't mean it's impossible, but generally I like to stick with chain brand restaurants. These are things like Wendy's, Chipotle, and McDonald's, because they have standardized manufacturing and standardized ingredients. Also, remembering your EpiPen's expiration date is pretty difficult for the same reasons that eating out at restaurants and remembering to take your EpiPen is. Keeping up to date with manufacturing news is pretty important, and especially if you have, say, more than 10 allergies, remembering every allergy that you have is also pretty important. So what's the solution to all of these problems? The solution is an all-in-one central food allergy app, Allergen Life. With both real-time tracking, updated news, restaurant allergy menus, and an EpiPen expiration date reminder, I attempt to create all of these problems and solve them all in one simple, easy-to-use app. The most important feature of the app, in my opinion, is auto-injector tracking. Auto-injector tracking using real-time tracking, long-lasting battery, and reminders to bring it, and especially alerts if it gets too far away. Now, especially for kids, this can be a real problem. See, kids' brains aren't fully developed, and they don't understand the gravity of the situation that they're predisposed genetically to. See, adults do. They know that if they eat a peanut, for instance like me, I could die. But kids don't realize that. But parents of kids do. In fact, in a recent study out of Michigan, about 90% of parents with of kids with food allergies had anxiety that their children would, say, eat something they're not supposed to, not have their EpiPen on them, as children are pretty forgetful, and die. The second main feature of the app is restaurant menu viewing. For the reasons I've already described, it's pretty difficult to eat out, but it doesn't have to be. To find restaurants near you, filter by allergens, and read reviews of other people with food allergies can be an absolute game changer. See, mom and pop restaurants don't always have substandard cooking. They don't always not know what a food allergy is. For instance, many of you are familiar with La Fondant, Maine, or say Barbaro's Pizza. Both of these places are fine for me to eat at, despite them not having a food allergy menu. And that's because I've personally talked with the cooks of these places, and they have intimate knowledge of what it means to have a food allergy. And they can eliminate cross-contamination through cooking practices. But there's no way for me to share this information with other people with food allergies. And there's no way for the restaurant to tell people like me with food allergies that it's safe and okay to eat at. So having something like this could be an absolute game changer for all people with food allergies and the restaurants themselves. For our customer segments, we're looking at parents of kids with food allergies for reasons that I've already described, insurance companies who don't want to pay exorbitant hospital fees, and adults who want to just have a reminder to carry their EpiPen, who, like me, are forgetful and can't always remember to take their EpiPen with them. For a market analysis, globally it's about $5 billion per year. That's about you have a food allergy and you have access to a phone. For our service addressable market, it's about $500 million per year. That's you're in the US, you have a food allergy, and you just happen to carry an EpiPen. About 40% of people with food allergies carry an EpiPen. About $200 million is our service obtainable market. That's you carry an EpiPen and your customer segment target, which is parents of kids with food allergies. For a business model, you're looking at a mainly free app. That's access to regular restaurant menu viewing, EpiPen expiration date reminder, and updated allergen news. Updated allergen news is especially important because manufacturers can change. For instance, a few years ago, Krispy Kreme actually changed their manufacturing plant away from a plant that wasn't peanut-free to one that unfortunately was not. So I couldn't eat at Krispy Kreme anymore. But I didn't find out until 2 years later when I just happened to look at the menu and saw that it actually had cross-contamination for peanuts. So there's a disconnect between manufacturers and people like me with food allergies. The paid version of the app is real-time EpiPen tracking, which includes a one-time cost of $39.99 for the case and $1.99 a month for the premium allergy menu viewing. For competitor analysis, EpiTrack was the only company on the market that tracked your EpiPen. They went out of business a few years ago because they only sold one product and they didn't market it very well, if I'm being honest. Allergy Eats and Spoken are currently businesses. They attempt to do the same thing that I'm doing with allergy-friendly restaurant churches, but they're made very inefficiently. You have to physically review a restaurant in terms of a paragraph, and there's no way to actually view the allergens that they're rating it for. This means that even though, say, combined 30 restaurants in San Antonio have been reviewed, I can only eat at 3 of them, because only 3 of them have both peanuts and tree nuts in the review. Being able to filter by a tag would be a complete game changer for people like me. I'd be able to find restaurants that I can actually eat at, and I solve what they cannot. For a future roadmap, we're looking at App UI prototype, what I've already done, research and development, finalized target customer segments, and I've already filed a provisional patent on the tracking device. With the money, I hope to hire a developer, begin early market testing, and launch a website and achieve a minimum viable product. And then through the final round, I hope to essentially expand, especially in San Antonio, grow more customers, and have a final product. I believe in this app. I believe that it can potentially actually save lives. But I also believe that I can only do that with your help. Thank you. Any questions?
For the restaurant piece, how do you plan to get information from the restaurants? What does that info look like?
Yeah, sure. So for the restaurants themselves, chain brand restaurants actually have allergy menus online, say McDonald's, Wendy's, any chain brand restaurant is linked to Chipotle, but they're very dispersed. They're not always updated. They're very difficult to find online. And for instance, McDonald's doesn't actually have an allergy menu, despite them being a huge restaurant. But they do have them on individual levels. So if you go to just the ingredients, they have them on there. So I can actually find all of the chain brand restaurant information online. The difference is mom and pop restaurants can be iffy. So mom and pop restaurants is what I'm using reviewing for. That can be other people with food allergies reviewing it. It can also be me personally, which is how I'm planning to implement this, going and talking directly to the cooks of these mom and pop restaurants, saying, hey, do you guys have an allergy menu? Are you familiar with food allergies? What's your cross-contamination standards like? that sort of thing. That can be a complete game changer, and that's how I plan to implement that for the restaurant part.
So I have a question about your tracker.
Yeah, sure.
Looks like it's using an AirPod, right?
It is currently using an AirTag, yes. That's because the low frequency Bluetooth of the AirTag, it lasts long, it's sleek and visible. It's not what I'm planning to use for my final product, but the low frequency Bluetooth feature of it is.
So what are you going to do?
So Chipotle, which is another thing that kind of piggybacks off of Apple's AirTag product, they also create a very similar one. I've been in talks with their team. They have the ability to create it within their own app. So I would be able to use the Chipotle tracking product, embed it in within my own case, and have it be accessible within the app. The difference isn't that you can't do any of these things on your own. You could write a sticky note that says, hey, like, your EpiPen expires in 5 months. The difference is I make it simple. I make it all in one app. You don't have to have 5 different things. You don't have to look up the restaurant allergy menu every time you go out. It's all right there in the app.
Yeah, because I like your tracking part. You know, it could be useful not only for parents, but you know, in a school setting.
Exactly.
So
right. There was actually a case recently where, okay, it wasn't recent, it was a few years ago, but it was in London, and they couldn't find the EpiPen. And there was this kid who was having an allergic reaction, and they couldn't find the EpiPen. And eventually they did find it, but the EpiPen was expired. Mm-hmm. And they administered it, and the kid died. He was like 13 years old. The kid died because they didn't have a way to keep track of the EpiPen expiration date. They couldn't find it in the school, and even when they did find it in the school, it was of no use. Yeah.
What is the cost to produce? Sorry, I'll turn on the mic. Do you have any estimates on the cost to produce the device?
Yeah, so the case itself is $22.75. That doesn't include shipping, but it includes all the parts of it.
Any other questions?
Right.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
Very good question.
Good afternoon. My name is Jaden Silverall.
I'm Marcus Bondrak.
And I'm Colin Bishop, and we are Beanie. Could you imagine a life without coffee? Me either. Well, as beneficial as coffee is to our lives, it actually promotes a lot of negatives to the environment around us. So it's time to face the hard truth. Our beloved brew is brewing up a climate chaos. Now, did you know that 64 million tons of coffee grounds end up in landfills annually? And this is a problem due to their high content in oil and acidity, which directly impacts the environment around it.
Along with those coffee grounds, over 375 million ink cartridges also end up in those landfills, along with 1.6 billion pens. Many of these plastics make their way into our water systems, contributing to the 26 trillion pieces of plastic currently in our oceans.
90% of our clothing is dyed using synthetic dyes. What's bad about this is that when clothes are dyed synthetically, it directly contributes to greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere, increasing global warming.
Now the common denominator between all these problems is the fact that they're toxic. Toxic, right? And obviously this poses a health threat not only to us, but the environment as well.
The current price per ounce of ink is more expensive than the price per ounce of blood. This is not cost effective for anyone, including small businesses and households. Currently, it costs around $30 to print around 120 pages and up to $80 for 450 pages.
Printer companies are selling their printers to small businesses and individuals at a slight loss due to the fact that they know that once these consumers buy their printers, they'll be forced to buy their ink at higher prices. Our team went around San Antonio and surveyed local coffee shops, including Summer Moon, Press Coffee, and Starbucks, and we discovered that we can obtain around 67 pounds of coffee per day for free. With our 100% success rate, we are confident that if we need more coffee grounds as we work, we are able to get it.
Now, the actual process of creating dye starts with connecting a pigment to a binder, such as gum arabic, casein, and an impasto medium. Next, we would move to adding a substance to neutralize mold, ensuring that it has a long lifespan. And then the questions that we've been trying to answer recently is finding the most efficient process to create a dried form of dye, as well as finding the right consistency for a liquid form of dye. Now, the creation of ink starts with extracting a melanoidin and then mixing it with a mordant to give it an ink-like consistency. And the best part about coffee grounds is that they actually have a negative charge, which means that they can connect easily to natural things, non-toxic things like artificial dyes do. They connect easily with cellulose and natural things, which produces a high yield color. Now, during our process, 30% of spent coffee grounds actually dissolve. That means 70% are left. Well, they're not going to go back into landfills. Instead, the 70% that go through our process, we're going to continue draining out the acidity and the oil and then delivering the 70% to composting companies.
Along with business to business and business to consumer sales, we believe Bean Ink has the potential to enter the circular market in which we are extracting these coffee grounds that would otherwise end up in landfills and create revenue through them at virtually no cost other than processing.
Our target markets are the clothing industry, the printing industry, and the art industry. Within the clothing industry, there is improved potential for brands to increase their value by centering themselves around dyeing their clothes via natural resources. And this, they can tap into the 91% of consumers that actually prefer natural products.
Printing is an essential facet for many small businesses and households, with 80% of small businesses claiming that they use printing daily and 62% of households owning a printer in the United States. A reduced ink cost would greatly benefit both of these groups.
And because 71% of art consumers prefer natural products, we believe we can wedge our products into use by painters, illustrators, and prints. Now, Bean Ink has solely been in the idea phase for the past 2 months. But we firmly believe that with the funds and time allocated to our company, we can not only step from the idea phase into the developmental stage. We are excited about what this process can not only do for our company, but for the world.
I know what you're wondering. Can this even be done? Well, yes, it can. An Iowa State study actually proves that coffee grounds can be used to efficiently dye 5 different materials.
European business has very similar processes to what we do, actually offering different products, but based on their proven track record of dyeing different natural things, such as like tea bags and things like that, we believe that our success rate could match theirs as well.
Individual content creators have also had a lot of success dyeing different types of fabric on their own.
Why us? Being raised in northern Texas and a family that spans across 4 generations of farmers, we have directly seen the impact of what a worsening environment can do. There, it's personal. This is an individual problem and a world problem that I will lead Bean Ink to fixing.
Along with our extensive history as student athletes, we believe we possess the skills necessary of time management and team building to propel Bean Ink into this next phase.
We also study a variety of disciplines here at Trinity University. I myself am a chemistry major.
I'm a finance major with a minor in entrepreneurship.
I'm an economics, finance, and English major.
Due to our variety of disciplines and interests, we believe that we can propel Bean Ink into success.
So help Bean Ink make our home greener.
I have a question here. So you mentioned that your ink can be used in printer, cartridges, and pens. Are you selling cartridges with pre-filled ink, or you envision selling the ink and the consumer refilling the cartridges at home?
So that process right now, we are firmly focused on actually developing the ink, and then once we develop it, that's where we start to question, hey, do we make our ink compatible with ink cartridges already out there, or do we start to develop a system where they can refill it, which is actually already being put into use by certain printing companies, and so then our ink would probably aim to just be filled into those cartridges that way.
When the manufacturing process of getting it from the grounds to an ink product, have you gone through the analysis of the manufacturing to see what that costs per whether ink cartridge or ink pen, or what would be a kind of a unit cost that you would have to have your break even, and then what do you think you could sell it for?
So with our main ingredient being free, we think that actually significantly helps our profit margin. And so, we haven't directly looked into, how expensive an ink cartridge would be, but that's why we want to be partner with different ink cartridges companies. But we know that we can develop the ink for significantly reduced price compared to what it is now, because it's through the roof.
To add on to that, just having our raw material costs so low, we believe that if we can make this process effective, that profit can definitely be generated from this. No.
Sorry. So when you were talking to Summer Moon, Starbucks, and was Merit Coffee on there?
Press Coffee.
Press Coffee.
Sorry. Did they indicate interest in wanting to be part of having product produced from their own and kind of having even a circular marketing strategy around there?
So that's something we've actually been discussing recently, kind of like the coal ash market, where they give some profit back to them. But when we told them that we were essentially helping with the world, and they're just going to throw them away. So why not give them to us? And they were very excited. Specifically Starbucks. Starbucks was, you guys come back here every day. We're going to give you all the coffee grounds you want. And that was pretty nice to them.
Also at this stage, because we're not asking for so much, and we approached them as a sort of, this is in the research phase, they were extremely willing to give all that up. But eventually, if it were to expand to where we're moving lots of product, a small percentage of that probably would be paid to them.
I have another question. See, the important part is the chemistry. So where are you in the process of, converting the coffee beans into an ink?
So, like we said, we are still we haven't developed it. We've done a few individual experiments where we could get it onto the paper, but we weren't able to really have it solidified onto the paper yet. But we are still in the experimental phase, and we use this accelerator for the time and the money in order to completely expand our research and go deeper into our processes.
And I think the big thing on this is there's people out there who already know how to do this. So we need the funds and we need the time, which the Trinity Accelerator would give us, to go figure this out, because it is very doable, and we believe that, again, the accelerator would prove very beneficial to our company.
Have you guys located any specific engineers that can help you guys get into the MVP stage?
We currently have not, but we're looking for applications if anybody is an engineer. But that we would be able to find, for sure.
How energy intensive is your process?
From kind of a team standpoint?
No. How much energy do you consume turning a pound of coffee into a pound of ink?
Well, again, I think that's what the Trinity Summer allows us to do, right? We're all in very extensive amounts of 18 hours, different majors in football. So we believe the time spent would help us figure out that process a little bit more.
Thank you, Beanie.
Hello everyone, I'm Marcus Morales.
I'm Molly City.
And I'm Haley Lynn.
And we are FitQuest, fixing fitness one game at a time. So let me tell you all about Zach. Zach is a student at SFA studying computer science. And he struggles with a problem that a lot of us struggle with. You see, Zach has been very unhappy with the weight he has for just around 8 years now. And no matter what fitness app he uses or what fitness routine he gets into, he can't stay motivated. He can't consistently lose weight. No matter what he tries, he can't stay motivated. And he's not the only one.
So over the last couple of months and a lot of interviews later, we discovered that 40% of people fail their fitness goals worldwide, and 65% of our interviewees confirmed that they just couldn't stay consistent. And that's because they found it just super hard to do, and they lacked a lot of knowledge within the fitness industry. And one thing we did find was that they loved identifying progress. It shows their hard work and their consistency. And really the only thing to help you do that right now is personal trainers and fitness apps. But personal trainers are stupid expensive, and fitness apps tell you exactly what to do. So the question still remains, how can we help people stay motivated?
So currently our market looks like this. We have it split into a couple different segments. Firstly, we have fitness trackers at a little bit over 47 billion. They have an annual rate of 19.1. Additionally, there's diet applications. They are a little bit over 11 billion with an annual rate of 17.4. And then we have fitness applications specifically, which are a little under 7 billion with an annual rate of 9.99. So currently our target market essentially looks like this. We are targeting student athletes, people that have generally had a structured lifestyle in high school, but no longer have that structure due to their new college lifestyle. These people like gamified processes like Kahoot or Quizlet, and they just idealize a nice physique because they are former athletes. Currently, our market is our total addressable market is a little bit above 9 billion and a CAGR of 24%. And then our serviceable addressable market is a little bit above 2 million with a CAGR of 17.7. Lastly, our serviceable attainable market is at a little bit over 200 million with a CAGR of 10.
So we see here that people can't stay motivated, and we're thinking, what works best for these student athletes, for these customers that we've identified? And we realized that nothing keeps them more motivated these days than video games. So we started thinking, how can we make your fitness journey just like a video game? Introducing FitQuest. We are gamifying your entire process of your fitness journey. Imagine a game where the only way to progress is by being consistent, by going exercise every day, by eating the right foods, by basically putting your fitness journey in liaison with this game. We're giving you immediate reward for a long-term process, putting away the drag of the long-term reward system that comes with working out, that comes with being healthy. Additionally, we have a built-in AI system that gets workouts done for you, that was constructed in-house. That customizes your workouts entirely based on your user profile, your needs, and your wants. And finally, we will be offering a full social experience, leaderboards, achievements, the capability of creating parties. Nothing can be more motivating than seeing how your progress is doing against others, as well as talking with your friends and interacting with them through this application. So what is the gamification that FitQuest offers? Imagine every day receiving a set of quests that correlate exactly with your goals. It could be as much as consuming a certain amount of calories. It could be going to the gym, performing a certain exercise. And it is by achieving these quests that you gain experience, gold, and ways to progress on this game. You only get stronger by being healthy. Let's talk about traction, because thankfully we are not in the ideating hell that constantly happens with app companies. We actually have a no-code prototype going on right now, where we offer the service to users entirely done in-house and all done through paper, as well as a built-in game that we send every so often. Of this, we have currently 40 registered users. 35 of these users are still active, utilizing our service for about 1 hour in average a day. And 34 of these are willing to pay for the market cost that we're putting on the application. Additionally, we have 250 compound followers on our social medias, and we have an additional 61 waitlisted users that we're currently building the infrastructure to have them onboarded into our service. Let's talk our business model. We're a freemium service. We're going to offer limited functionality for the application, and for the full app, you have to pay $7.99 a month. Other revenue streams are cosmetic purchases, which are just clothing, nothing body-wise, for the character themselves. Merchandising correlating to our brand. And advertisements for the free version of the application. Our biggest cost is going to be our AWS services because we are a AWS application, as well as social media marketing, which is going to be our main method of obtaining customers. And then finally, content creation for the game itself, because it's very important for us to keep things fresh and keep putting stuff out for our users.
Since our target market is on like the younger side of demographics, we are specifically focusing on short form social media content. That's like me giving fitness tips or just tricks and things. Additionally, we would like to add some print advertising as well and professional video. We are looking to kind of provide these things in gyms and supplement stores for things like print. And then, of course, in terms of social media, YouTube, like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram. And additionally, we would like to look at an additional revenue stream of partnerships, which include standalone fitness influencers, companies that support them like Darksport and Gymshark, of course, and reach the game community through Discord. Now, our market competition, this is just a snapshot, but essentially what I'm trying to achieve with this graphic is stating that these capabilities are out there. They're just extremely segmented. Habitica is a great habit-inducing app, but it's not necessarily fitness-centered, and MyFitnessPal doesn't necessarily have AI capabilities, and it's very dated.
Let's talk our finances real quick. We expect over the span of 5 years a 590% increase in our revenue, with a 32% profit margin by year 5. Our break-even is going to happen on month 36, with a customer acquisition cost of $4.56 and a lifetime value of $4. This is why we need the $5,000. First, we want to pass our prototype over to an application. For this, we're going to need $3,000 in application development costs, $1,000 in advertising, $340 in payment integration, $300 in A/B testing, and $360 in content creation. Any questions?
Yeah, I've got a question. Do you know how many in your target market play the types of video games that you're modeling the app after?
Yes, in terms of RPG games or turn-based games in general, we have a cross-section of about 30 to 40%. The reason why they're so engaged for that target market is they're not that time-intensive, and they're also not that attention-intensive, which serves really well for games that people want to engage in 10, 20 minutes at a time during a day.
I just have a different type of question in that vein. So you showed data about the industry, but what is the actual demand for the product, right? If folks are already disincentivized to work out, don't want to do it, what is the pull here? What's the buy-in for them?
So the demotivating factor is not the fact that they don't want to do it. The problem with staying consistent in general is that there are no systems made in place to actually maintain consistency. Molly has actually done a lot of research regarding this.
So I have a background in psychology. That's what I'm getting my undergrad degree in right now. So I've done a lot of research within what keeps people motivated. And recently there's been a lot of studies that have found that all the elements that we've implemented in our app and having a role-playing game has been found to be a lot better and more beneficial for people to actually stay consistent and not lose that sense of motivation. So that's why we decided to do a role-playing game versus what other apps have kind of done in the past.
First of all, congratulations. I think that this is a fantastic idea. I would definitely use it. I am certain that all of my friends would as well. My question would be, I understand that you guys are going to be using a lot of different devices that track fitness in different ways, and the data itself is going to be very different. Have you guys thought, due to the competitiveness that people are going to have against each other and who wins certain battles or anything, how are you going to standardize the data that comes from different devices on different platforms?
Absolutely. So thankfully I am in contact with one of the senior developers at Garmin, which is one of the big players for smartwatches in the industry. And he's actually giving me a lot of insight about how that data is being processed and how it's communicated to other applications. There are some standard practices on how data is transmitted, and it's going to be a case about doing encoding for the sorts of data that we don't have, for the ones we do, about standardizing them through proper data pipelines to do so. Thankfully, I'm a graduate student at the Bloom Institute of Technology with a degree in data science.
may have sold my books at Trinity and used all that money to play NBA Jam way back when. And so this is really a great idea of kind of melding competition and this kind of role playing game, right? But talk to me about keeping the content fresh. What has been the thought around not? Because I can see somebody jumping in and just like everything else, kind of hitting that wall and then just kind of fading back. So what's the idea of kind of keeping the content fresh?
So, thank you for that question. We actually did a lot of research regarding that, especially for games that focus a lot on attention and having people actively engage with it. We did a case study regarding this popular game called Genshin Impact, which is entirely free. And what they actually focus on is continually adding content in infrastructure that is cheap and maintainable for the new players and the audience to keep themselves entertained. So this is going to be a constant operating cost, and that's going to be the cost of adding more content as time goes on. But thankfully, with the engine we're utilizing, it's going to be extremely cheap to do so.
I can also answer on that a little bit. So with our game, the fit quest will change each week, so it's never going to be the same to help you kind of stay, not like get bored basically, because that's kind of what we found in the past with looking at other apps. People end up getting the same workouts over and over again at one point, and they can't really pick and choose which ones. We give them a limited option to kind of pick and choose what they want to do, but it just gives a change of pace each week to keep people engaged.
Additionally, there's a lot of key players here, right? There's so many people that are kind of trying to achieve this, but I feel like in my competitive analysis, I just found that they have very segmented capabilities, and most of the people that are trying to gamify fitness or have in the past are super dated and not necessarily achieving the correct market. So,
another question. So you have about 35 active users, about 8 weeks of data for them using it. What have you learned about your customers based on their activity?
We learn more than anything that variety in the quest is what keeps them engaged the most. And we've actually learned that a lot of the users have inherited a lot of the quest into actual habits that they've integrated into their day-to-day life. First, they began thinking about, how do I get that workout in? How do I eat so many calories? But after 3 to 4 weeks, it became so integrated for them that they don't even think about it anymore. And those good, healthy habits has been integrated into their lives.
Hello everyone, we are FuseTune. Our mission is to provide a convenient and easily navigable platform for emerging and/or breakthrough music artists to help them gain visibility and connect with music industry professionals. But why us? I'm Salvador O'Brien, founder and CEO. I plan on majoring in business marketing and management. I also have previous experience in the music industry, having interned at a music management company in London, England, and also at a music ticketing startup company. So what's the problem?
So we've identified 3 problems. 1, emerging artists are being alienated by the music industry. Number 2, many music industry professionals are struggling by the lack of system. They have no system to find new artists. And then last of all, many emerging artists are struggling to find visibility to the industry. So what is our solution? So we want to provide a platform that allows emerging artists to log on and essentially just showcase themselves to music industry professionals. Secondly, we want a database that allows industry professionals to log on and see and scout emerging talents. And then lastly, we want a convenient, useful, and easily navigable website that allows emerging musicians to showcase them and industry professionals.
So what are some of our product features?
So a few of our product features include a weekly personalized subscriber email. There will be an advanced search system for both music industry professionals as well as the aspiring artists, where they can filter their searches. Thirdly, there will be a request to contact capability where users can decide whether or not they want to interact with a specific user. And lastly, there will be a music industry news page.
Now let's take a look at some of the competition. So as you can see up there, we've identified 4 indirect competitors. So you've got TikTok, Bandcamp, MySpace, and Roster. There are indirect competitors due to the fact they're in a similar lane of the industry as us, and have product features, as you can see up there, that we'd like to incorporate in our own website. However, they're not our direct competitors due to none of these platforms actually doing what we're trying to do. Our actual direct competitors would be the current A&R processes in place at music industry companies around the world. If you don't know what A&R is a process these companies go through to search for new talent in the industry. And from our research and our own understanding of the industry, we believe that currently these processes are, one, unproductive, and two, very inefficient, and so there's a need for change. Now let's take a look at our target market. Starting off with our TAM, we've got all music industry professionals worldwide and all emerging music artists worldwide. We know that in 2022, the music industry generated $31.2 billion in revenue. Moving on to our SAM, we've got music companies and professionals in UK and US major cities. As well as this, we have 18 to 25-year-old music students in UK and US major cities. Looking at the business side of things, there are over 29,000 businesses in the sector, and in 2022, it generated $7.1 billion in revenue. And then on the artist side of things, we know that in the US alone, there are almost 72,000 artists. And finally, for our SOM, we have small independent music companies and professionals in the top 10 largest cities in the US. In this sector, there are over 800 businesses, over 1,400 music industry professionals, and it generated in 2022, $356 million in revenue. And finally, for the other side of things, we have 18 to 25-year-old music students in UK, in the top 10 East Coast and West Coast music schools. In this section, there are over 565 US music schools, and in our SOM alone, 15,000 music school students currently. In our first year of operations, we want to hopefully attract 5 to 10% of this number. So what's a go-to-market strategy?
So, as you'll see on our next slide, we want to leverage our music industry connections. We have connections to emerging artists and well-established music industry professionals, as well as musicians. So that will be our first phase. And then secondly, we will go into finding our full target market, which will be US music schools on the East and West Coast, as well as little boutique and independent labels for innovative music companies that are looking for change. And then lastly, this will come farther down the road. Once we have a well-established product, we want to find a poster child, somebody that essentially will find success with our brand and music industry professional, and then have a well-off career.
So looking at some customer discovery. So this is very much an ongoing process and something we plan on doing a lot more over the coming weeks and months. In particular, we like to diversify our customer discovery a lot more. But as you can see on the board, these are some people that we've interviewed and spoken to so far. So picking out a few, we have James Sandham from Red Light Management, who talked a lot about how A&R processes are very unproductive at the moment. We also have Ed O'Brien from Radiohead, who talked about young musicians being ignored in this industry. We also have a producer by the name of Justin Raisin. He talked about how the industry is craving change, and a platform like this is a step in the right direction. And finally, we also have a young up-and-coming rapper from New York by the name of Josh Blooms, who talked about how he would be desperate to use a platform like this right now as he's trying to make the next step in his career. And currently, there isn't anything out there for him to help him with that. So what's our post-MVP timeline?
So once we have an established MVP, we plan to search for investment through friends, family, and fools. And then as we get into Q1 of 2025 to Q3 of 2025, we plan to go to market, outreaching to both US music schools as well as innovative music companies. And then in Q4 of 2025, we plan to set our sights on a poster child. Thank you so much for listening. We are FuseTune, connecting music to management with a click of a button.
Any questions? Quick question, guys. So you mentioned that right now you're working on building an MVP.
Mm-hmm. Can
you share exactly what features that's going to include and how much funding you guys are looking to raise in order to make it happen?
So what exactly are you asking? Like what our product features are and how much it's going to cost? So currently those are some of the main features, but in effect, essentially there'll be two faces to the website. So it'll be one face where a membership for music industry professionals will be able to sign up, and then one for emerging artists. And essentially those features we had up there, like a personalized subscriber email, you'll be able to choose what you want to send to you, whether that's for a music industry professional, whether that's, they're looking at a certain genre, they're out there in the market for someone, and then if a new user comes on and signs to the platform, they'll get an email being like, take a look at this new band or new artist that's coming on. And it works the same for emerging artists. In terms of costs for the website, we've done some research, and currently it costs around $200 to $1,000 to get a good MVP, good solid product for the first number of users that we plan to have, which was 5 to 10% of that 15,000. In terms of costs further down the line, we aren't entirely sure. We're currently focused on building that MVP and trying to find a designer, which hopefully with the money we'll get from the accelerator and the time from the accelerator, we'll be able to put towards that.
Just to add on to that, so we're all student athletes. We all play soccer here, and I personally use this app called NCSA, and we were kind of basing it off of that app because basically it's like a recruiting app for colleges, and so they have a dashboard with all sorts of potential athletes to sign, and so we want like maybe a little music clip or something where you should go on the dashboard for the industry professional, and they can kind of scroll through and see, like, listen to them for a little bit, learn about their profile, and basically that.
So this is a technology solution. So do you have somebody on your team who knows technology, or are you planning to hire somebody from outside to help you build the website?
So probably we will probably hire someone. I am a minor computer science, but as of now, I mean, I'm a freshman, so I haven't learned that much, and so definitely some help from teachers and also outside sources.
So to piggyback on that part, me and Sal have talked to one who's a rising senior coming in this next year, and he already has the tools acquired in computer science and can form this database that we're looking for.
So you did invite him to be part of your team yet?
Well,
he's a bit busy at the moment, but.
So I have a question. This is fun for me because I was a music business major at Belmont in Nashville years ago, before anything like this could have existed. 2 questions for you. Who is the primary group that is paying? Is it the artist? Is it the AR rep?
So we've got 2 sides of it. So it's the emerging artists will pay a membership, but then we'll also have music industry professionals. And from my experience and knowledge of the industry, that comes in managers, A&R reps, you've got agents, you've got promoters, you've got record label reps. There can even be memberships for like a whole record label, for example, for a discounted fee.
Okay, thanks. And then my follow-up question is, on the artist side, are you planning, how will you, and if you will, how will you be qualifying the artists to have membership?
Great question. So firstly, the request to contact. Okay, so with the membership, we're looking at essentially any artist that has 1,000+ followers on a music-related social media account. But then also, once they're on there, the request to contact capability will be where, so the manager or the record label doesn't get thousands and thousands of just applications. They'll be able to, see if they want to let this artist talk to them or see if they want to let this artist follow them, essentially.
I have a quick question. So to me, it's a technology thing, but it's also a people thing. So I think the biggest value you're going to get from a tool or a solution like this is who's already on there. So what are y'all doing to recruit and retain early membership from the musician side and from the professional side to make sure there's value and that people develop like some kind of FOMO, right, around your product?
Yes, this is a very early idea, obviously. We've only been out the last couple of months. However, in terms of the industry side of things, I have a ton of connections in terms of the business world with some people up there, but many more as well. Already some people that be interested in saying those were quite high up managers, but putting their lower managers or record label people into our website. And then using that, we then want to reach out to, firstly Trinity and the music school students here, but then also the other schools that we've looked at across the country, like Juilliard, etc., and reaching out to them and their heads of department and getting in contact about that.
That I would squeeze in is about intellectual property and making sure you have someone on your team to evaluate that, make sure you're on track with musicians submitting clips.
Yeah, I think that's the person we're looking for, and it's possibly going to be the senior that, in the coming weeks or months.
My name is Legend Grigsby.
And I'm Reese Allison, and together we have over 10 years of engineering experience.
As a team, we've set forth on the ambitious path on creating our company, LXR, where we aim to provide riders with the infrastructure for swappable batteries in addition to a quality electric motorcycle that gets people excited.
So electric cars have been a big hit for years now. What have you heard about electric motorcycles? After noticing the gap in the market, my partner and I did some research and found that while some big motorcycle companies have tried to fill this gap, they have failed. For starters, the Harley-Davidson released the EV bike, but it had terrible range of only about 150 miles that would leave people stranded on the road.
To address this issue, we want to be the company that successfully builds swappable batteries. This would allow our riders to continue moving forward.
The other problem with EV bikes is that they don't look as cool as gas-powered ones. We wanted to put an end to the competitors' lack of vision, so Legend and I created our first ever EV bike. Whilst keeping the aesthetic of a modern-day motorcycle, our product will feature swappable batteries to extend the user's mileage and create a unique look and feel, sure to bring riders the experience above the rest.
So choose to revolutionize your ride with LXR, where cutting-edge technology meets innovative design. We are not just selling electric motorcycles, we're shaping the future of exhilarating journeys.
With zero emissions and a commitment to innovation, our motorcycles will redefine the thrill of the ride while preserving the planet. So join us in the electric revolution, where every adventure is cleaner and uniquely yours.
I want to start by saying thank you to each and every one of you for coming to support us as students and learning a little bit more about our dreams and aspirations. With that, we'll go ahead and get started so you can hear all about ours. Hi everyone, my name is Legend Grigsby. I am the president and CEO of LXR.
My name is Reese Allison. I'm the Senior Vice President of LXR.
Green is on. This green is on. All right, now I'm on. And up next, we have Mackenzie Gasner, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today because she is studying for her CPA exam, where she is getting the knowledge to effectively be a great CFO for us.
So let's get started with today's agenda. Well, first up, we're going to talk about the problem with current electric motorcycles, our solution to that problem, some financial analysis, market insights we've discovered, and as well as why we're the right people for this job, and we'll leave some time for questions at the end.
So as we've already stated, current mileage that electric vehicles are providing for riders is not ideal. It is not meeting the standard. Electric motorcycles have created a distrust between customers and companies due to the fact that they've continuously left their riders on the road stranded with dead batteries and no way of charging them.
And while this problem might seem hopeless, my partner and I think we've come up with a solution. So we're proud to introduce the Elixir, which is LXR's first fully electric bike or electric motorcycle. The pictures you see above me right now are some concept designs I made in Fusion 360. We want to take the look of a gas-powered modern-day motorcycle and transform it into a futuristic fully electric bike. So it looks good, but does it actually solve the problem? Well, the Elixir is going to incorporate swappable batteries that would allow the rider to double, maybe even triple their current mileage, and with the only limiting factor being how many batteries you can take along for the ride.
And here are a few concepts that we'd like to further explore as we continue to innovate our design. But we thought this was important to show you to give you an understanding of our deep passion and vision for creating solutions to our customers' needs. For example, instead of having to stop and charge your regular battery using a charging station, you simply just swap out the old ones for a new one using our swappable battery infrastructure.
Talking about batteries, this is the projected cost for our desired battery. We used the Harley Livewire as a direct comparison. The Harley Livewire is Harley-Davidson's current electric motorcycle. And we just based our numbers off our desired power output, which is about 16 kilowatts. Bringing the total cost of the bike to be $11,254, with the battery being a pretty substantial chunk of that. Another thing you'll notice is that we don't have a cost for labor, and that's because we plan on doing the first design fully in-house.
Now coming to the cost of the Elixir. We compared our bike to several others on the market, which was extremely difficult to do given how unique our product is. But after looking at others like Harley, we wanted it to outperform Harley, but we didn't necessarily want it to cost as much. So we landed on the number of $16,899, which gives us a healthy return of 50% in our ROI. And here at LXR, we believe that market intelligence is crucial to having market dominance. So a few of the key metrics that we have tracked is the increase in demand for EV products in addition to the increase in motorcyclists annually, which comes out to about 7%. And while all of these are important and good to know, we know that at the end of the day, there's nothing more important than the people gearing up to go on their journeys, and that would be our riders.
So our riders are individuals who love adventure, love the environment, and love innovation. They're the journeyers at heart who love to seek the world on their own terms and be environmentally conscious. And one of the best ways to stay environmentally conscious is to choose your mode of transportation, which is where me and Legend come in.
But we also wanted to know who'd be competing for our riders. So we took a deeper look into the competitors in the market, and we realized that even with top brand names like Harley, we would still be able to capture a large percentage of the market share. And as you can see, there's a large percentage of the forecasted revenue that is left unclaimed, but we believe that a couple of kids from Trinity can change all of that.
So how are we going to change that? Well, for starters, we're going to do research into existing electric motorcycles to find out how that will better help us innovate ours.
We're going to prototype and test batteries to make sure that they have a seamless integration with our product.
We're going to initiate discussions with potential investors and partners to create collaborative opportunities.
And we're going to continue to redesign and implement the tools needed to make sure that there's seamless integration with our bike and our battery.
We're going to create that infrastructure Legend was talking about that will allow our riders to swap out their used battery or their depleted batteries for fully charged ones.
And lastly, we're going to make sure our customers love them. We're going to make sure that we're keeping up to date with market trends and that they are excited about their products. And here at LXR, with our vast engineering knowledge, we come to the conclusion that with the right tools and the right resources, you can build just about anything. I believe that this team has the right tools, and with your help, we'll have the right resources to see this journey through. So with that, we'll open the floor up for questions. Look at that one, 13 seconds left to spare.
Can you talk about the helmet that you have as well?
So the AR helmet was just a concept that I was really enthusiastic about in our initial pitches, but we realized that this would have to come later on, just given how we need to focus and centralize our efforts into our motorcycles and our batteries. But essentially what this would entail is a heads-up display with like your speed, and it would integrate directly into our motorcycle.
And would there be anything that would, you could use that helmet to go also into the combustion engine? Could that be also used so the market could
well, as a sustainable company, the word combustion is just like we don't like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, as a sustainable company, we prefer to keep all of our products centralized around saving the world in energy.
Thank you.
Come on, guys.
I have a quick question to go back to the list of items, like in the cost. So on here, do you foresee any issues with securing any of these supplies through manufacturing in the market that we're in right now? Thinking about world events, tariffs, things like that. Do you foresee that you'll be able as a startup to procure, I guess, these products to create your prototype?
Are you saying at cost or just in general?
Just in general, right? Because with swappable batteries and things like this, some of the pieces are hard to find. So are there workarounds? Are you looking at, bring those in from overseas, or would it be local manufacturing places you would find them at?
So that's actually a great question, and I will guarantee you that we can find that and figure it out for you. But what I will say and what I will comment on is that we don't believe that getting these products at cost will be an issue, given that I'm an extremely conservative underwriter. So a lot of these are already a little inflated just to account for some unforeseen events.
So building a bike company's ambitious
Absolutely.
endeavor, so good for you guys thinking big. Now, the main value proposition that you guys are offering with your company is the interchangeable batteries, right? So why not develop that technology specifically and license it to bike companies with infinite research and development funds?
So that's a great question, and he's kind of brought up the chicken and the egg, like what comes first. So with our company, we want to take the approach of doing this together. Actually, just the same way that Tesla, the battery company, better known for their electric vehicles, we're following their mindset and their approach in doing things together to make sure that our product again is, one of the only ones that will be able to do this. That's our value add proposition.
How much did the battery weight? Sorry about that if I jumped in front of you. The battery weight. I know that with electric vehicles, that's one of the challenges. It just weighs so much. So if you have to carry, was the idea that you would have 2 or 3 in case you had a long trip to take, and then what kind of weight would that add and performance issues?
So we thought about that earlier, and what we're actually going to start off with, before we're able to get there first.
We're ready for all your questions, so feel free to. They only gave us 7 minutes to present, but they have no limit on the questions, so you feel free to hit us with them.
I think we actually have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. But yeah, so this is the specs for the Harley Livewire, like we were talking about earlier. I can't remember. Do you remember the exact weight for it?
So maybe not all your questions, but what we know is that this is possible and that people are already trying to obtain this, and we would just simply try to partner and make sure that our battery is light enough to where it's convenient enough to be swappable.
And also, if it is a little bit heftier battery that you can't necessarily comfortably put in a backpack, we could also modify the bike with like saddlebags that you could just put on the side of it, so you could technically carry like 4 of them along with you, but it's just kind of something that we'll have to see whenever the time rolls around.
We adapt and overcome around LXR, so 51 seconds. No takers?
I have one more question. So the 74% unclaimed, how do y'all define that? Like, where'd that number come from?
So yes, 74% unclaimed is based on the future revenue that is yet to be generated, and the percentage of these specific companies that have a market share already. So when you extrapolate the data to show like who are the key players in the market, these are the key players. There's a long list of others that haven't. Including the last number is like 5 million. So like there's a long list of other companies who have a very small percentage of the market share. And while I say unclaimed, it is technically claimed by other small ventures. But again, we believe that a couple kids from Trinity are going to shake that up a little bit. Great question.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Faisal Alzand.
And my name is Lindsay Fouché.
We're excited to present to you our company, Powerlifting Depth Checker. Powerlifting Depth Checker, or PDC for short, is a unique tool designed to help powerlifters, athletes, and anyone to fitness accurately determine how deep they're squatting and provide real-time feedback when they've hit a customizable depth. PDC consists of a leg strap phone holder and a Depth Checker app, offering unparalleled accuracy and convenience at an affordable price.
So why squats? And why powerlifting? As powerlifters ourselves, we noticed a recent surge in the popularity of the sport, growing from just 6,410 members in 2014 to over 97,000 members today in the USA Powerlifting Federation. But that statistic is just a drop in the bucket. Squat, bench, and deadlift, the core of powerlifting, has become essential in fitness routines worldwide, with the hashtag powerlifting gaining over 26.6 million mentions combined on Instagram. Furthermore, the lift of squat has gained widespread usage, with the hashtag squat and squats gaining over 74 million mentions combined on Instagram. Additionally, wearable technology leads fitness trends per an American College of Sports Medicine survey. Powerlifters are known to invest in gear like wrist wrap, knee sleeves, and more, and represent a substantial sales potential in the wearable tech category, as well as an ideal initial target audience for our venture.
So is squat depth even important? And if so, why? Well, in the sport of powerlifting, hitting depth on squats, which is defined as a hip crease descending below the top of the knee joint, is essential for a lift being approved in competition. As a result, it benefits lifters to train according to these standards to ensure the legitimacy of their lifts. But even beyond the sport of powerlifting, squat depth is important for a variety of other reasons. For one, how deep an individual squats significantly influences which muscles are engaged during the movement and the intensity of their contraction. With a quick glance at this 2019 study, you can see that individuals in the training group squatting with a full range of motion experienced significantly increased adductor and glute development than the half squat training group in red, but only marginal differences in quadricep and hamstring growth. All this just goes to say that there isn't a one-size-fits-all squat depth. It's important to tailor your squat depth to your individual goals to ensure the lift leads to better results and a reduced risk of injury.
So we recognize the importance of squat depth, but what does this mean for the general public? As you can see, with a simple YouTube search, you'll find several videos getting around 1 million views, all regarding the topic of squat depth. And on TikTok, you'll find hundreds of videos with anywhere from 1,000 to 1 million views, all regarding the topic of squat depth, and often posted and viewed by audiences who do not compete or participate in the sport of powerlifting?
So currently there are two ways that people tend to determine squat depth: video playback and eye line sight. But these are not feasible solutions for most people. In addition to the inconvenience of having to set up a camera at a particular angle or have a person available to help monitor squat depth, these solutions are also prone to inaccuracy, as even slight variations in the angle that the squat is viewed from can drastically influence the perception of depth. Our product aims to make tracking depth easy and intuitive. Our $29.99 PDC leg strap and iOS app combo allows users to achieve a precise depth with real-time feedback signaled by vibration or auditory haptic. PDC is extremely simple to use. You just slide your phone face up into the phone holder, secure the elastic Velcro strap around your leg, squat down, and press the lock button to set your desired depth. The app will display the angle of your leg with colors corresponding to the angle in relation to the angle of your selected depth. Yellow meaning you're within 10 degrees of hitting depth, and green meaning that you've just hit depth. Users also can select whether they would like a vibration or an auditory haptic to trigger when they hit depth, and have multiple tones that they can choose from, including sustained tone mode, which is ideal for determining how long the user descends below the depth that they set. There's also simple go commands and several tones for counting pause squats, which are a staple exercise in many fitness routines.
So now it's time to look at our competition within the fitness space that offer products most similar to ours and see how PDC stacks up against them. First, we have TrueRep, an AI camera point tracking tool that is marketed to help users achieve optimal squat form and depth. Beyond its expensive $100 price point, we found that it is finicky and prone to error and also requires a camera tripod set up at a certain height in order to be able to use. Next, we have our Better, Faster, Stronger lifting strap, priced at $39.99, which has an app that makes a sound when the user hits 0 degrees. We found that the strap is lacking in quality, and also the phone compartment is oversized, meaning that the phone is not held securely against the lifter's leg. And now we have our PDC leg strap and app combo. Priced at a reasonable price of $29.99, we offer customizable depth, customizable tone options, as well as a secure phone holder that holds the phone securely against your leg and also allows you to use your phone while it is in the phone strap.
So one of the big draws of our team is that we have a fully functional product ready to be marketed. Over the past 8 months, we've been working continuously to develop our app and website, customize and produce our initial inventory of lifting straps, and begin to hone our marketing strategy.
We plan to first and foremost market to powerlifters as a product created by powerlifters for powerlifters. We plan to use social media channels such as TikTok and Instagram to market this product and also sell online and at various powerlifting meets across the state in order to accrue testimonials, grow our social media following, as well as gain a reputation within the powerlifting community. Once we've established ourselves within the powerlifting space, we will expand towards a more general athletic community for our marketing and emphasize the product's benefits on squat consistency, technique, as well as desired muscle activation.
So here's a quick breakdown of our use of funds. We have an initial capital outlay of $1,725. We're pricing our straps at $29.99, meaning that our profit per strap sale is $24.52. This means that we only need 37 sales to offset our strap production costs and 58 sales to break even. We see the Stumberg funding as providing an instrumental role in maximizing the success of our launch. The funding will allow for several critical pre-launch investments, including implementing a QR code scanner access key within the app, which will ensure that users purchase the lifting strap before they have access to the app's functionalities. We also plan to bulk film Instagram and promotional content using our connections to several elite powerlifters in the San Antonio area with high social media followings to feature in these videos. We also plan to boost our content visibility through search engine optimization, and lastly, the purchase of a new strap size for small to medium-sized lifters. And with that being said, we want to thank you for your time, and we welcome any and all questions. Thanks once again.
So guys, why would someone buy your strap versus a generic one and utilize your app in it?
So currently there are no straps for the leg. There are only arm straps. So our straps are at a custom size to fit around the leg. They also has frictive material around the outside to keep it from sliding down your leg. And it works perfectly for the purpose that we intend.
That's also why we wanted to implement the QR code access key. So basically when they purchase the strap, the QR code would act as like an access key to the app. So they would need to purchase the strap in order to access the app.
Got it. And would you say that the strap is patentable?
I would say so. There currently aren't any leg straps on the market that we're aware of. We searched through the internet, we couldn't find any. So.
Making those straps for you? Who's manufacturing those straps for you?
Do you want to go back to the use of funds slide?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So we purchased the straps in bulk, so 200 per, and the price per unit is $5.47, and then it comes out to a profit of $24.52 per strap sale.
You're not manufacturing it yourself, you're just buying it from somebody else.
Correct.
Okay.
It's a wholesale manufacturer.
So I think on one of your slides it showed an app store screenshot. Are you already on there? If so, have you made any sales on there?
So our app is free. So the app is completely free. But like we said, yeah, we plan to have a gateway key into the app via the QR code scanner to ensure that that people have purchased the strap before they have access to the app, basically.
Do you guys have any other features that the app will expand to, building on the brand?
We plan to have a historical depth data, so you can basically record each rep of a set and have it saved on the app itself. So you can see maybe the first rep you were high, the second rep you went too deep, and it'll save that on the app itself. That's something that we plan to use the Stumberg funding to continue to improve the app and add updates like that.
We also plan to add a video like showing like how to set the depth like inside the app, and also like finding your optimal squat depth, and maybe like some form tutorial videos as well in the app as well. So yeah.
Awesome. What about other exercises?
We have thought about implementing this for bench as well, because in the sport of powerlifting, they have started looking at bench depth as well. So basically, they want to make sure that the arm is at 90-degree angle in powerlifting. So we were hoping to hop on that, like right when the rule changes, basically. So yeah.
Forgot my question. I was so interested in your answer to that one that I completely forgot my question.
No worries.
Continue, it'll come back to me.
Yes, sir.
There's a lady that's been wanting to ask you a question for a while.
Oh, can I ask a question?
Of course.
I have two questions actually, and I am not a power lifter, so forgive me, I'm a runner. But my first question is, have you tested this with other power lifters to see how comfortable that strap is? Because I think some of the accessories that are available for running, for example, I wouldn't wear something like this, but maybe power lifters would.
Yeah, I mean, powerlifters, like, our gear is generally not really comfortable, but this is pretty comfortable. Like, I barely feel this on my leg. I mean, my phone, is pretty light to begin with, but I barely feel it on my leg. So it's definitely more comfortable than, I guess, like, other powerlifting gear, for sure. But yeah, some of our friends on the powerlifting team have also tried this. We've also tried it with other lifters at the gym we go to, which is where a lot of the elite powerlifters train in San Antonio. So yeah, we've definitely had a lot of people try it and they really like it.
Nice. And then I have one more question.
For sure.
Looking at the additional market for this, I think other athletes would be very interested, but how would it be integrated into the app for those other athletes? For example, for runners, how would the benefits of powerlifting be in that app so that the runners would be motivated to purchase your equipment?
Right, so depending on the discipline, it's going to demand a different squat depth. Like for increasing your vertical jump, you might want to go only halfway down to emphasize your quadricep. So we also plan on implementing an info page that will basically tell you for what activity, whatever your goals are, the precise squat depth that you want to be hitting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, how are you? My name is Josina Zamora.
My name is Antonio Quiroga Delvo.
We are Stumberg Shield, radiating protection.
So this looks like a normal bottle of water, right? But when we look closely, there is a microplastics in it.
and this causes a lot of issues because people involuntarily consume up to 1 credit card per week. Isn't that crazy?
Sure it is. But to further understand this issue, we need to know what chemicals are stored in these plastics. So based on current research, we have found out that BPA and substitutes is the chemical component of all plastic packages we use. And actually, 90% of Americans have detectable levels of these chemicals in their urine. But why this represents an issue?
So the BPA and other similar substitute molecules are extremely sensitive to heat, especially around 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And for example, when my mother was tested for food allergies, a plastic allergy was found, and she asked her doctor, well, how I have plastic allergy, and the doctor said that a lot of the food and beverages are stored in plastic, and that's the issue. Also, this can cause obesity, heart diseases, diabetes, and she have thyroidism, which she passed to me as well. So this represents a big issue.
But let's further understand this issue. Well, researchers and institutions have found out the chemicals and the toxins in plastics. So Harvard, and along with other researchers, have put into contact with the plastic manufacturers and have told them, hey, change the BPA for a healthier alternative. However, this has been an ongoing cycle, and they have often replaced it with a causing toxin that is just as toxic as BPA, making this a never-ending story. In this sense, society has no real chance to be a thoughtful buyer and avoid these issues. Why? Because plastic is literally everywhere.
So, by researcher Homeworld Business in 2019, 61.1% of the US citizens prefer their food and beverages to be stored in plastic packages.
For this reason, we have developed a solution. A single sticker can be the shield plastic packages have always needed.
So we came up with solutions, solar indicator sticker called shielders. So when the plastic is not contains dangerous materials, it's yellow. But when it's exposed to the UV light and the sun and the heat, it turns red. This is a speed up process, of course, in order to show how our product works.
But now let's talk a little bit about market specifics. Currently, there are no direct competitors to our idea. However, there are indirect competitors that we can find through indirect competition and potential entrants, such as the US Department of Solar Technology or global package firms. And we obviously may possess entry barriers since we're a new idea, and this we will classify as the status quo.
So right now, our market have exactly 1,018 potential customers, and we target regional health-conscious plastic packaging beverages such as Plastic Bag, Puchiku, Sucha, and also cosmetic and pharmaceutical manufacturers like Alvera, and for them, our sticker also will serve as certification of quality. So our financial profitability for single sales, we estimated a price of $0.05 variable price, and the contribution margin per unit is 0.025, and the fixed cost is $850, and the break-even point per units per month is $34,000.
But why should manufacturing plastic packaging companies invest in shielders? Well, there is currently a growing concern for chemical in plastics. In 2021, there was a survey conducted, and 32% of those surveys were concerned about their chemicals in plastics. However, by last year, that number increased to 38%. And key players in this case are consumers. Plastic manufacturing firms are starting to acknowledge this societal issue, and all the health problems that microplastics may cause you and everybody here in the long term. We possess 4 quality offerings. We will not only be informing citizens about the plastic exposure of their beverage, we will be providing and getting rid out of the investment burden for plastic manufacturing firms when changing BPA to another chemical. They will not need to change to another chemical since they will be used to a sticker that reports the amount of solar exposure to their beverage.
So October last year, we created our team and idea. The prototype, we think that this is not exactly the prototype to be at April this year, the patent and trademark at latest in July. We want to file provisional patent probably sooner, and the first customer is September, and then we want to identify profitable financing as well as optimizing the productions and supply processes.
So this is us. I'm Jose Ignacio Mora. I'm from Quito, Ecuador, and I'm a minder, and I consider myself a very creative individual.
I'm Antonia Kirilodelva. I'm from Bulgaria, and I'm problem solver and finder as the creator of the idea.
So here is all the sources we have used to back up our research. And thank you very much. Be part of our revolutionary solution integrating solar technology for the better.
Questions, please.
So I love this product as a consumer. I'm trying to understand as a manufacturer, like why would I want to put that on a product that then would tell the consumer not to buy it?
Of course. So a lot of regulations have passed throughout the years, and they're forced to change the bottles and the packaging, which I researched, for example, a similar bottle will cost them around 16 to 25 cents, depends, but our sticker costs only 0.05. And the loss will not be that much because it's 282 degrees Fahrenheit, so they will not have that much loss as a product.
So basically, what the sticker is telling the consumer that the bottle has been exposed to high temperatures and they should not consume liquid from the bottle. Is that the purpose, or?
So when the bottle is not only and UV light as well, but it's not that sensitive as I showed you. This is a speed up product, so they will not like throw it off the production. It's not like that. When the plastic is exposed to the heat and to the sun, it emits the microplastics into the beverages or the food.
Yes, so basically as the plastic is exposed to the heat, these chemicals mitigate from the plastic to the substance, causing the health issues in the long term.
But when they have the sticker and the sticker shows that it's safe, there is no need to change their plastic. Even if the regulation changed, said that the plastic is dangerous, like the BPA, for example.
When you were showing the example, you used that UV light and the sticker turned red.
Yeah.
Now it's back to its original color.
Yeah, it will not be like this. That's why I'm saying that we are still not at the exact prototype. We just want to show like how our idea works. Right now we're working with chemical engineers because my parents work in the education sector, so we have access to university professors and like researchers.
So the chemical engineers are at Trinity, or they're somewhere else?
No, they're in Bulgaria, in my home country.
I think that this is a fantastic idea, guys. I actually always carry a bottle of mine that has a filter inside to keep plastic off of my body, per se, so I'm a little freakish in that sense. But I think that this is a great idea. Now, I think that this can also be utilized for food containers as well. Obviously, when you buy pineapple from H-E-B, and that's also exposed and you ingest that. Now, there are different widths in different types of plastic bottles and containers. are you guys contemplating developing different types of stickers for each width of plastic? Because I can buy a plastic bottle like this one, and if it has the same sticker as a much higher quality one that is a lot thicker, but it's the same color, I mean, I'm not ingesting the same amount of microplastics in each one.
So the stickers are customizable, and we'll work with the company, and we'll like research the plastic as well that the sticker is put on. Also, it can like change the design as well for the company preferences and stuff. So there is like a lot of freedom here.
And obviously, we will initially target niche companies, specifically focusing and considering the health of their consumers.
Can you talk a little bit about from the time that a product is bottled, the liquid is bottled, to the time it reaches the consumer for consumption? What is the most likely time or window at which it might be exposed? And for the manufacturer of that, how much control do they have once it's out of their hands around exposure?
So the most when it's exposed is either during the transportation or if it's storage outside. And for the manufacturer, typically the big manufacturers transport their things as well. And also these who, if do not manufacture transport their production, and if, for example, the stores transport their production, they as well want their product to be good. So I think this will also increase like the safety and the warning how the product is like transported and stored.
Hello, my name is Adriti.
My name is Cassandra.
And I'm Cora. And our company is the Engineering Clubhouse. So, meet Timmy. Timmy is your average middle school student with a big passion for STEM. However, he finds that outside of his chemistry, physics, biology courses, he can't really explore STEM concepts in a more project-based manner. And Timmy isn't the only one with this issue. According to ASQ, about 44% of kids don't really understand what engineering is. Additionally, 75% of Gen Z students who enjoy STEM and math courses at school out of them, only 29% want to actually pursue a career in STEM. This is due to the fact that pen, paper, practice problems don't really expose students to what STEM really looks like outside of practice problems. So overall, we're seeing that the bridge between STEM interests as well as ways to explore these interests is not accessible at all. However, there have been companies created to try to bridge this gap. One being KiwiCo. So KiwiCo is an engineering kit company that sells one-time projects and subscription as well as just individual projects for price ranges between $25 and $180. They're manual-based, meaning step-by-step instructions with very little complexity. There's also Creation Crate, which offers engineering kits again at higher complexity, but that comes with a higher price range of $40 to $300. And lastly, there's also smaller companies or also bigger companies like National Geographic that sell more complex projects like robotic kits and electric circuit kits. But since these are really complex, the price ranges from anywhere between $100 to $200, $300, $400 for a one-time project once again. So what are the issues that we are seeing? We're seeing the main one being that these projects are extremely expensive. For something that's going to happen in less than a day and just get put up on the shelf once it's done being built, $25 to $120 is just not worth the price. Additionally, all of these projects provide manuals, step-by-step directions, do this, do that. Instead of actually going into the engineering concepts, they're not really, pushing the kids to really understand what science engineering looks like. They're just telling them, oh, build this toy and then have it sit on the shelf.
So because of all these issues that we see in the current market, we decided to create our company, the Engineering Clubhouse, to increase accessibility of engineering to middle and high school students through high complexity engineering kits. Our goal is to introduce engineering to grade school students and give them a head start on understanding the fundamental principles of engineering. And so our solution is to take these large, expensive projects and break them down into smaller, modular projects that are more engaging for middle and high school students, and deliver these products to them in, deliver these products to them in the form of a subscription service that, where the kids build upon knowledge from previous kids so that the students end up learning an overarching engineering principle from all the kits that they acquire.
So our kits will have a monthly subscription plan that will go over the course of a year, where we will have, where each kit will have focus on a different principle in engineering and teach an overarching final project. So we plan to have several lines of these engineering kits, each one in a different field. Thank you. So our first line of kits that we want to include is an electromechanical kit, which means that the projects contained will have both principles in electrical engineering and mechanical engineering. So what might this might look like is something with these small kind of projects. This one here is a motor that is built with coiled wire, a magnet, and a battery. This particular project is very inexpensive, but it teaches one of the founding principles in electrical engineering of how magnetic and electrical fields interact to create motion. Additionally, we want to introduce things like CAD modeling, which is a tool that mechanical engineers use to create their designs, and it's very useful to get exposure to. So some projects that can be created with CAD modeling are things like these. These are both scales that were fully designed within CAD, and they contain important mechanical principles like torque and springs. So these are just some ideas of hands-on projects that will still teach the kids how to these engineering principles.
So for the cost of the kits, for the yearly subscription, the kits will cost at a flat rate of $30 per kit, but we will also have an option where people can buy individual kits, and those will be priced depending on the exact materials and complexity of the kit. And once we establish a customer base, we definitely want to provide a discount for students who qualify for free or reduced lunch, just to increase the accessibility to those students. For kit contents, this will also depend on the specific line that the kit is in. So for example, we want to include Arduinos and breadboards in the electromechanical line that we have right now. These particular materials are a bit expensive, but they can also be used for multiple kits. So it would be a one-time cost that would be offset by the more inexpensive materials that we would use in other kits. Other materials to be included would be stripped wires and mechanical pieces. These will also depend on the particular task that the kit will have. We'll also include informational videos and booklets that'll walk the students through the kit and also teach them the theory behind the engineering principle that's associated with the kit. And we also want to include a quiz or a short survey where we can gauge to see how much information the students are retaining from these kits, and also receive any feedback from them regarding the kits. So beyond kits, another goal of ours is to encourage creativity and engineering for students. So we want to give them the opportunity to express themselves creatively and have their own design projects. So once they've completed a line of kits, they will be able to, they will be given the opportunity to design their own project. And with this, we hope that they are able to explore their interest in engineering. Thank you. And now we're ready for questions.
How much are you anticipating it will cost to produce the kits?
So for cost, typically I think the max that we would ever spend would be around $15, and that would contain like the Arduinos, the more expensive microcontrollers. However, the Arduinos for a 12-month subscription, it's a one-time cost for us to send that expensive portion out. But then after that, the other kids would use the Arduinos, we would just send out wires and small like LEDs, those things, and those can cost as little as $5
but we're selling this for $30 plus discount for the free or reduced lunch ones. So we should be able to see a profit between $15 to $20 with each kit.
I think this is an amazing idea.
Thank you.
And so I think it really hits STEM at an early age and captures, so just congratulations on that. To me, I think the challenge is just the scale. So is there an issue with sourcing any of your projects?
So right now we're in like the prototyping stage. So we have taken our own projects that we've done for engineering, the motor, the scales, and we basically want to turn them into something we can put in a box and ship out. So initially for prototyping, it's all going to be in-house, so just the maker space, which will be really inexpensive. And in that process, when we understand how these kits are going to be manufactured, we're going to be able to reach out to like potential manufacturers who are able to fit our needs the best.
I also wanted to add, we're all engineering students in the Trinity program, so there definitely won't be a shortage of ideas as to what we want to do with the kids.
Are you planning to market to parents, to teachers, what is your marketing plan?
So our marketing plan, one is social media marketing, Instagram ads, those kinds of things, because now middle school, high school students all have some form of social media. The other one would be Sunday schools, as well as like Kumon, where parents really want their kids to succeed, go into STEM. So with social media, it would be reaching out to the kids directly, and then at Sunday schools, Kumon tutoring places, then parents in the lobby can look at a kid and be like, oh, I want to make my kid do this. So that's our plan.
So I had a question. First of all, I think this is really cool. I work in cyber, and I love like the idea of y'all reaching out to engineering students. So my question was around, oh my gosh, I lost it because I got excited. Oh, I know. What do you plan to do with the investment, like if y'all are selected?
With the investment, our biggest cost, I think we're looking at is like prototyping, manufacturing, because we have ideas, but our ideas are more like school projects. So figuring out, going through a bunch of different models to see what is the most easy for students to build and learn from. So a lot of the money will end up going into materials for prototyping, and then after that, paying manufacturing fees, as well as initially, because when we're starting to sell, we're not going to have a big customer group yet, so we can't exactly, with like shipping costs especially, we can't just get a partnership with like UPS. So a lot of the investment is also going to go into those more random costs, like shipping, making the boxes that we're going to ship it out in. So just like the miscellaneous and the prototyping.
And you guys may want to talk to communities in school. They do a lot of things in middle schools on downtown and south side to actually test out your products and see what kind of results you get. So
thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Provost Mustaine and Rick Stumberg to introduce our winners for tonight's competition. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm going to keep this a little bit short because I know we want to get to the big checks and the whatnot. Can we please have a huge round of thanks and excitement for all of our student teams? Y'all never cease to amaze me, seriously. Like getting to be around Trinity students at all and getting to watch y'all be the wonderfully lovely nerds that you are is seriously like that is the gift of a lifetime. So it is great to see you do your thing and to get to celebrate you. And I'll stop talking because I know what you actually want to hear about. Cool? Shall we do it? All right. So we have 5 awards to give out. Is that correct? That's correct. All right. And the first goes to FitQuest. It's a big giant check.
behind it, so they should take the picture.
Come on in there. You'll have to get a truck to get that to the thing. All right. And our next winner of the seed prize is, you want to do it?
Stumberg.
And next up,
Allergen Life.
good job. Yeah, everybody? All right. Our next prize goes to
LXR.
And our final winner is
Vanessa's favorite.
squatting.
Congratulations to all 5 Stumberg teams, and congratulations to all 8 teams. I know we already applauded it, but I'm so proud of all of you.